There are millions of roads in the world, and it wasn't until the game of slaughter came and Ron awakened a very strange talent that he finally saw his own path. Talent. Burning corpse. Talent level. D. Level, talent effect. The attack power is 0, but it can instantly burn corpses and randomly extract their attributes, skills, and talents. Ron. I am a corpse crematorius. The corpse crematorius is looking for me, no charge. Years later, thousands of worlds merge, and dusk falls, causing fear among the world. How did this corpse-burning person run to confront the gods? Grasp the grass. This is not a battle, it's clearly a massacre. Chapter 1. Innate corpse burning sacred body. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Blackfire City is a funeral home located on the outskirts of the city. A row of cold incinerators felt inexplicably suffocating. Ron, this will be your position in the future. Xiao Yang will come to guide you and teach you some operation procedures for burning corpses. By the way, Xiao Yang is an old employee here, a very kind young person who is easy to get along with. The owner of the funeral home is a thin and frail middle-aged man with a rigid personality. When speaking, he also has no expression on his face. Ron nodded and said, "Got it, thank you boss." The boss's expression remained the same, he just nodded and turned around intending to leave. However, the next second, he froze in place. Immediately turning his head, he looked at Ron with a strange expression and said, "Xiao Luo, did you hear any strange noise?" Ron also had a strange expression on his face at this moment, and his eyes were facing each other. He was even more shocked. Because just now, a strange voice suddenly rang out in his mind. The natural disaster of killing has been activated. Please check your personal attributes interface to awaken your personal talents. Please note that the difficulty coefficient of this killing natural disaster is relatively high. Please improve your own strength as soon as possible. These two words suddenly echoed through Ron's mind, causing him to think he had hallucinated while attending a classmate gathering at a bar all night last night. However, the owner of the funeral home seems to have also heard this voice, which indicates that it is not so simple. Seeing Ron's expression also surprised, the funeral home owner quickly asked, "Xiao Luo, did you also hallucinate?" Ron shook his head and said, "I shouldn't be able to hallucinate, boss. Let me take a look first." Ron frowned, but his heart inexplicably became excited. He is 25 years old this year, and many of his friends and classmates have already started families and businesses. However, he has not achieved anything yet. No matter what career he does, he often fails and ends up in debt. In order to repay his debt, he gritted his teeth and found a higher-paying job, burning his body. I heard that as long as you are willing to work and endure hardship, you can indeed earn a lot of money. At this moment, there was a sudden change that Ron had never imagined. Sister, don't affect his earnings. How to view the personal attributes interface. Ron decided to follow that prompt, but the problem is, he doesn't know how to do it. But miraculously, as soon as he thought about it, a very clear interface silently appeared before his eyes. This incident surprised Ron immensely, and his eyes gradually widened. The funeral home owner was also surprised and quickly pointed to the interface, saying in surprise, "Xiao Luo, what is this?" Ron frowned and thought to himself, how did I know about stepping on a horse? Forget it, research it. This should be a personal attribute, like playing a game. I'm not particularly clear about it, okay? Don't worry, I'll take a look before we talk. After speaking, his attention focused on the interface. A string of jumping small characters, especially eye-catching. Awakening personal talent. Awakening completed. Your personal talent is burning corpse. Talent level D. Level talent. Ron muttered softly, clearly not understanding what this level meant. On the interface, there are also other contents. Name. Ron, Power. 1. Speed. 1.2. Stamina. 1.2. Weapon. None. Skill. None. Talent. Burning corpse, D. Level, honor. 0. Trading center. Temporarily closed, chat area. Allow entry. Ron seemed lost in thought. Strength, speed, physical strength, these are easy to understand and reflect his personal physical fitness data. Ron touched his chin, and after a few days of not shaving, a piece of his beard came out, slightly rubbing his hand. He murmured, "This value should be considered among the average people, isn't it?" At that moment, Ron was interrupted by the voice of the funeral home owner. "Sha Luo, why can't I see clearly what's in front of you? What the hell is this?" Ron looked at the boss and immediately understood something again. It seems that others cannot see their own panel information clearly. He said directly to the boss, "You're thinking that by opening the personal interface, you should be able to see yourself." Oh. The boss nodded decisively. Unexpectedly, a boss who usually looks very rigid would also show a nervous expression. He quickly followed Ron's instructions, and the next moment, a panel that was basically the same as Ron appeared in front of him, excitedly shouting, "This! What is this? Wow! It's so amazing! Haha!" Ron chuckled lightly, knowing that the boss was not only due to his personality, but also because he was relatively old and not as receptive as a young man. It's normal to appear so excited. Moreover, Ron enjoys reading some online novels during his free time. At present, he feels that this situation is similar to some types of online novels. This world is probably going to undergo tremendous changes. A new era has begun. It's a bit abrupt. According to the prompts, he has realized that the key to standing firm in the new era is personal talent. But his level of talent really makes him panic. After all, it's just a D. No matter how it is arranged, the letter D seems to be out of the front row, right? Hey! Sha Luo, I seem to have awakened my talent. It seems like an A. Level. The funeral home owner exclaimed in surprise, causing Ron to suddenly widen his eyes. His A. Level talents, if arranged in alphabetical order, are 2 levels higher than his D. Level talents. Before Ron could speak out, the funeral home owner exclaimed excitedly again, A. Level talent. Shining brightly. Talent explanation. Transform the completed business of the company into a common attribute of the company, and distribute it according to the company's member class. Ron had a strong interest and whispered, "Surprisingly, this talent is very suitable for growing and strengthening, boss." The funeral parlor owner chuckled and said, "It would be great if this were the case, but I don't know what the situation is yet. I wonder if anyone else besides us has this thing. By the way, Sha Luo, what is your talent?" Ron hadn't had time to read his talent description before he focused on the talent section. Talent. Burning corpse, talent level. D. Talent description. The attack power is 0, but burning corpses can be completed in an instant. Ron's eyelids trembled for a while. So, one's own talent, without attack power, can only be used to burn corpses. Ron looked at the boss expressionlessly and said bitterly, "Boss, my talent is D. Level. I can burn corpses in an instant." The boss laughed and said, "It seems that you are still a natural body of burning corpses. Sha Luo, you can stay here and help me burn corpses in the future. Let's study other things slowly." Ron thinks so too. It's hard to say what's going on outside now. I happen to have a talent for burning corpses, stay here and burn them first. Ron nodded politely and thanked, then asked, "Boss, when will we have a body burned? It should be fast." The funeral home owner had a worried expression on his face, and he was staring at his interface at the moment. The interface displayed a chat area, and the information inside was like a barrage of bullet comments rolling rapidly in the live broadcast room when a popular beauty anchor was dancing, with a huge number. Chapter 2. Burning Corpse to Increase Attribute. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Listening to the boss's worried tone, Ron felt a bit confused. So, he immediately opened the chat area on his interface. A dense barrage of bullets immediately caught the eye. Killing natural disasters. Wow, wow. So I've had enough of following the rules and regulations for a long time. This day has finally arrived. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Finally, I don't have to go to work anymore, ladies. I'm here. I have to do 10. Hee hee, they are all scumbags. I have awakened my B.level talent and my blood is surging. Scumbags, look forward to the birth of the blood demon. Tisk, even a small B.level talent, dare you come out and make a fool of yourself. A.level talent, universal salvation, participate. Boss, I admire it. Isn't my small E.level talent in the sewer? Whispering, everyone, take a look at me. I have a beautiful voice and a sweet voice. I just turned 18 this year and can do anything. Note. Only consider dating B.level or above experts. Ron frowned and reached out to touch the stubble on his chin. Tisk, so there's something lower than my talent level, that's great. After speaking, he turned his head to the boss and asked, Boss, you just said there will be a body to burn soon. What does that mean? The boss closed the interface in front of him and let out a long sigh. Just then he said, I've figured out what killing natural disasters mean, but you young people are better able to adapt quickly to such things. Moreover, such a big event is bound to cause a lot of big trouble. Sha Luo, prepare for work. By the way, I still want to ask, Sha Luo, are you willing to stay here and work? I'm willing. Ron nodded decisively. Ha. Are you joking? There might be chaos outside now, okay. He is a D.level talent, isn't it a safe way to give him a head when he runs out? It's better to stay and burn the body. Moreover, the boss also has A.level talents that shine brightly, which may bring him attribute growth to a certain extent. It's much better than him alone. Okay, then prepare yourself and wait for me to notify you. I also need to contact Xiaoyang. The boss nodded and then turned around and left. Xiaoyang. Ron guessed that the person who was mentioned twice by the boss might not come to work, right? After all, besides him, who would be willing to return to work honestly after such a big thing happened? Forget it, it's none of my business. I'll just wait and burn the body. Ron shook his head and cleared away all the messy thoughts in his mind. Then he looked around and saw a flat bed. He thought it was for employees to rest, so he lay on it, crossed his legs, yawned, and fell asleep. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. I said, are you okay? At some point, a very pleasant voice sounded vaguely. Ron opened his eyes and saw a delicate girl with delicate features who couldn't help but want to tug at her face and slap her to try her elasticity. He looked at himself curiously from a downward angle. Sleeping trough. What's the situation? Ron was shocked. Thinking to oneself that I have seen ghosts in broad daylight, can't I? This is a place where funeral homes burn bodies. How could such a beautiful girl appear here? Unreasonable, this matter is absolutely unreasonable. Ron immediately put on a pitiful expression and said bitterly, Sister. You have a head and a debt, please don't come and harm me. I'm just a corpse burner, bah. I'm on my first day of work today, and I've never burned a corpse before. Ah. The girl was stunned. After staring at Ron suspiciously for a while, she finally burst out laughing. Ha ha ha. What, you're quite interesting. I'm a living person, don't be afraid. The girl smiled and said, you should be Ron, right? My name is Yang Xiaoxiao. From now on, we will be colleagues, so please take care of us. Ron blinked, his heart lying in a groove. Are you the little Yang that the boss said? Ron stared at her. Yang Xiaoxiao immediately put on an angry look and said angrily, "Damn it. Old Yang calls me that way again in front of outsiders. We must give him a bottle of wine." Ha! Ron breathed a sigh of relief and felt much more at ease. Suddenly, Yang Xiaoxiao said, "I didn't expect that on your first day here, you had a lot of courage." Ah! How to say it? Ron was confused. Yang Xiaoxiao pointed at Ron's single bed with one finger and said, "Here. This is a bed where dead people sleep. I see you're sleeping soundly." Holy crap! Ron was sweating profusely in an instant. In another moment, I sat up from above and jumped down. Having witnessed the entire process, Yang Xiaoxiao's expression gradually gloated. But soon she became serious. "Your talent is burning corpses, right? There happens to be a corpse that needs to be disposed of now. Can you do it now? Can it be?" Ron has always been unable to accept the setting of a beautiful girl burning people in a funeral home, just like a high-end American drama that insists on having a domestic audio, which is as incongruous. And then Yang Xiaoxiao blinked her eyes and looked at Ron. At this moment, her expression also became like her father's, calm and unable to see anything. Her tone was calm and expressionless. "If you're afraid of the first time, you can tell me and I'll teach you." How could I be afraid of the first time? I'm so excited, okay? Ron said seriously. "Just give it a try to see what your talent really is." Shortly thereafter, a corpse lay on the bed where Ron had just fallen asleep. Specifically, it was a fair-skinned and beautiful female corpse in her 20s, with a heart-wrenching blood hole on her neck. What's going on? To be honest, Ron was a bit scared. It wasn't that he was timid, but rather that it was his first encounter with a real dead person at such a young age. The whole thing was so scary at first, which would not be frightened. It only means that there must be some psychopathy. Yang Xiaoxiao explained, after the natural disaster of slaughter began, some terrifying monsters appeared outside, and she was just one of the ones who died in the hands of the monsters. I understand, then let me get started. Ron took a deep breath, observed a moment of silence for this unfamiliar beauty, and immediately activated his talent to burn the body. Boom! Boom! A cluster of small flames rapidly magnified at Ron's fingertips, instantly turning into a massive fireball. Strangely, this fireball did not emit any temperature, as if it would not cause substantial harm to humans. But when Ron threw flames at the body, boom! In less than a second, the entire body was left with only a pile of ash, moving at an astonishing speed. Yang Xiaoxiao was also taken aback and said, "This speed is too fast, isn't it?" But Ron found that on the pile of ashes, there was a small spot of light that looked like a firefly flying towards him. Before he could figure out the situation, he heard a warning sound. Power +1. Sleeping Trough. Chapter 3. In Chaos, Heroes Emerge. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De Co Lois Ara Trong Quatrin Lay Text. Chapter 4. B.Level Talent, Stick Critical Strike. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Woo 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 woo. Woo 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 woo. The mournful cries echoed throughout the funeral home. After receiving the news, Zhang Qingyang's relatives quickly arrived at the scene and signed the cremation confirmation letter. Then the body was transported to Yang Xiaoxiao's funeral home. You are responsible for incineration, I will package it later. Yang Xiaoxiao gave Ron a warning. Ron nodded. He naturally understands. At his terrifying burning speed, the burning of the body can be completed in an instant. If the cremation is completed, immediately seal it and hand it over to relatives. Perhaps relatives may mistakenly believe that the ashes placed inside are fake. Soon it was the most anticipated stage for Ron. Brother, you can also be considered a man, but you are also lucky to have met me. Don't worry about my professional skills, I can cook it for you in less than a second. Ron observed a moment of silence towards Zhang Qingyang lying on the stage. Immediately activated the talent. Burning corpses. Boom. Flames surged up. In an instant, Zhang Qingyang turned into a grayish-white gray. Ron stared closely at Zhang Qingyang. I thought to myself, brother Zhang Qingyang, it's up to you whether this one can penetrate your soul at once. Buzz. Sure enough. Under Ron's expectant gaze, Zhang Qingyang floated out a firefly and flew towards Ron. Here it is, attribute enhancement has come again. Ron smiled faintly. How much can it be strengthened this time? Obtain B.level talent, stick-type critical strike. Ron, who thought he would only receive attribute enhancement, was confused. Surprisingly, he can still produce talent hush. This wave has made a lot of money. He, who originally only had D.level talents, had no attack power to speak of. But now it's different. He has become someone with B.level talent. Although there is still a long way to go compared to Yang Xiaoxiao's level, at least it is not considered powerless. View talents. Stick-type critical strike. When using stick-type weapons, critical strikes must be generated. Critical strike multiples are 1 to 5 times. Not bad talent. Ron instantly understood why Zhang Qingyang could kill the big white bug at the beginning. Even if he hits him with a stick, he can do it. Xiao, it's already burned out. If I need to go out for something, please call me. By the way, this is my phone number. Ron walked out of the crematorium and found Yang Xiaoxiao sitting on a high stool, swaying her legs. After listening, the latter looked at Ron with a slight difference and asked in confusion, "Can you go out alone?" After all, Ron is an employee of the funeral home, and Yang Xiaoxiao has been considering his safety from beginning to end. "It's okay, I'm not going to places with monsters, I'm just going to buy some daily necessities and I'll be back soon." "Okay, then pay attention to your safety." Yang Xiaoxiao finally felt relieved. After leaving, Ron rode his little electric donkey slowly on the street. On the street, many official personnel can be seen patrolling in official vehicles driven by police officers. Maybe you should be on guard against the appearance of those monsters. In addition, it may also be to guard against some people's reckless behavior. After all, it is not uncommon for some people to start disregarding rules after gaining power. Just like the supermarket Ron just walked into. A thug-looking guy is holding up a fist the size of a sandbag and threatening the boss, saying, "Hurry up, give me all the money. I'm a C.level talent, and when you see me, I don't have a fist the size of a sandbag. One punch can kill you." The boss was frightened and glanced at the thug's fist. It's really the size of a sandbag. It should be a talent for strengthening physical body shape or something like that. The boss's heart is filled with hatred at this moment. Damn it, with this talent, you're still robbing while riding horses. Choose any wealthy woman from all over the world. Still robbing, without any success. What he hates even more is that he himself is just a trash F.level talent and has no ability to fight against this brain disability. As for Ron, he came to the store to buy daily necessities, but unexpectedly encountered his boss being robbed. Do you want to shout out when you see something wrong on the road? Ron is a bit conflicted in his heart. This world is no longer as good as before. It's not that doing good deeds is not bad, but rather that one cannot actually do such good deeds. Get rid of this thug, there must be another thug coming to rob. So, it's meaningless, just do your own thing well. So Ron chose the products on his own. After selecting the goods, stand in line behind the robber. "By the way," I said, "hey buddy, could you please hurry up? I'm in a hurry." The thug glanced at Ron and said, "I'm sorry, buddy, I've been delaying you. Why don't you pay first?" "Okay, thank you." Ron thanked and the thug also gave up a spot. The boss was speechless and aggrieved as he settled Ron's account, and even sent Ron a look of help during the process. When Ron Quan didn't see it, he mentally planned to let him seek his own blessings. After settling the account, leave directly. It has to be said that the world is becoming increasingly chaotic now. Just as Ron came out, he saw a sleazy man holding a beautiful girl hostage. Despite being surrounded by several police officers, he remained calm at all. Ron didn't mind the excitement and stopped with a strong curiosity to watch. Damn it, get the hell out of here. I'll just rob you and finish it. I don't want to take any lives. Damn it, don't you get out of here. If you don't get out of here, I'll kill this girl. To show his anger, the sleazy man threw a small fireball directly. Boom. This little fireball rose in the storm and flew towards a nearby electric donkey, instantly transforming it into a fireball. Ron, who was not far away, widened his eyes directly. Damn it. My little electric donkey. Ron is extremely angry. Nima, you stinky pig egg. If you rob your sex, then rob your sex. What's wrong with burning my little electric donkey? Someone robs money, Ron can turn a blind eye. If someone is despairing, Ron can also stop and observe. But burning his little electric donkey is not enough. Ron was in a hurry and searched everywhere for suitable weapons. But for a while, he couldn't find any suitable weapons until his gaze shifted to an adult goods store on the street. Okay. Ron immediately had an idea in his mind. There are many ways to insult people, but this way is definitely the one with extraordinary mental impact. In no time, when Ron walked out of the adult goods store, he was holding an 18 centimeters pink big jia bao in his hand and walked towards the lewd man who set fire with a gloomy face step by step. At first, no one noticed Ron. Because Ron walked around from behind. Until someone discovered, Ron was already very close to that sleazy guy. This startled those police officers. What is this kid doing, being chivalrous and righteous? When they saw the weapon in Ron's hand, they were even more shocked. What the hell? Nima, what are you holding? I ask you, what is in your hand? Ron quickly approached. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. Raise your hand, the jiabao is ready. The jiabao's skull-shattering strike. Bang! The jiabao hit the back of the lewd fireman's head. The stick talent takes effect and triggers critical strikes. Fall to the ground on the spot. The power is terrifying. Let you burn my little electric donkey, I won't kill you. Ron snorted coldly, threw the big hero in his hand, and turned around to leave. Chapter 5. Global Announcement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 6. Experience can be increased now. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ron was confused. At this moment, he feels a bit cold except for the wind. Still shrouded in a great sense of shame. Besides, the image in Yang Xiaoxiao's heart is probably gone. This wave is a huge loss. Cough. Little, listen to me explain. I was taking a shower at the time, and then I was teleported to this place. I'm not an exhibitionist. Ron quickly explained. Yang Xiaoxiao turned her back long ago and stuttered in response when she heard his explanation, oh. Then you quickly find something to cover it up. Also, you can't always hold it with your hands, how can you participate in the dungeon? I looked around and saw only the wilderness. Where can I find something suitable to cover up here? Finally, Ron's gaze fell on Yang Xiaoxiao's coat. Yang Xiaoxiao was wearing a cool dress inside and a pink cotton jacket outside. There are also many patterns of cats and dogs that seem to be hand-woven, which is enough to show the owner's love for this garment. Ron said awkwardly, little sister, why don't you bear the pain and give me your coat to use? Yang Xiaoxiao rolled her eyes and said, this is my favorite coat I made myself. Forget it, I'll give it to you. Anyway, you should cover it up quickly. After speaking, she immediately took off her coat and threw it back to Ron. Ron felt the texture of the jacket was smooth, with Yang Xiaoxiao's body temperature remaining on it, and the hand feel was excellent. In addition, it also has a faint fragrance, not like the smell of perfume, nor like the cleaning smell of washing powder. The final conclusion is that this is Yang Xiaoxiao's body fragrance. Ron took a deep breath and wrapped his coat around his waist. Gone. The rough man put on the fragrant coat of a beautiful girl. It's really offensive. At this moment, Ron's guilt in his heart was like a surging river flowing from the sky. But this feeling actually brings some joy. Damn it, are you really a pervert? Did you cover it up? Yang Xiaoxiao trembled and asked. All right. Ron calmly returned and even made a cross-legged pose, saying, you can watch now. Yang Xiaoxiao turned around trembling again, his eyes carefully looking over, and then he saw the location of Ron's key point, which happened to have an elephant pattern. Not to mention, the position of this elephant really fits perfectly, just like a custom-made one. Once you're dressed. It's okay, damn it, my little elephant is dirty. Yang Xiaoxiao clenched her pink fist, her expression now resembling a little yellow person with closed eyes and tears streaming down her face. What should we do next? Ron continued to cross his waist and asked. I don't know, there should be rules or something, right? Yang Xiaoxiao guessed. Then. The interface in front of the two automatically appears, with many small characters appearing on it. Oh no. You've opened your mouth too wide. Ron raised his thumb and gave a big thumbs up. What is displayed above is indeed a rule. The specific rules are as follows. 1. Personnel have been randomly assigned to reward dungeons, with each dungeon accommodating 1,000 people. 2. The number of monsters in the dungeon is limited. Please try to kill more monsters or stronger monsters as much as possible. 3. Allow freedom to form teams and fight against each other. 4. 0 monster count, end of dungeon, or 0 dungeon personnel, end of dungeon. 5. Within 10 meters of the place of birth is a safe zone. If you do not want to participate in the dungeon, you can wait in the safe zone for the dungeon to end. I see. So. Ron let out a sigh and then said decisively, little sister, you need to work hard. In Yang Xiaoxiao's perception, Ron belongs to the type of battle scumbag who has no combat effectiveness at all. This kind of occasion is indeed not suitable for Ron. Yang Xiaoxiao pondered for a moment before saying, actually, you can follow me. I will kill the monster to the brink of death, and you can go and repair the knife. Thank you, but it's not necessary. I'll wait for you here. Ron finished speaking and lay directly on the ground, crossed his legs, looking very comfortable. Seeing this, Yang Xiaoxiao couldn't say anything more. He nodded and ran out towards a place. Her speed was very fast, and she ran out of Ron's sight in a few seconds. Luan stood up, chose the opposite direction and walked out. Waiting in place is impossible. How could Ron the Great easily miss such a great opportunity to make a fortune? Just pull it hard and it's over. Just. Ron also knows that his current combat power composition is not particularly strong. Strengthened attributes several times. AB. Level talent, stick type critical strike. AC. Level talent, weakened. If used properly, such combat effectiveness should still barely make it. But when encountering a real monster, there may only be a chance to escape. Not to mention, there is also a possibility of encountering other malicious players. In short, be careful and cautious in everything. Roar. Roar. After walking a distance, Ron saw a creature resembling a lion roaring endlessly from a distance. This thing just looks like a lion, but in reality it's completely different from a lion. Larger in size and more dangerous. Ron casually broke a branch from a tree, tried his toughness, and after no problem, he took it and walked towards the lion. There is a high probability that this guy has already discovered Ron as an intruder, so he has been in a state of alert. As soon as Ron approached, it rushed towards him. To be honest, Ron is a bit panicked. Make decisive use of C-level talents and weaken them. Roar. This monster, which looks very much like a lion, suddenly felt like taking too much sleeping pills, and even its feet floated. Ron quickly copied the branches and chased after them, hitting them hard. Bang! 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 Stick critical strike. After only a few hits, this monster lion was beaten to death by Ron. Kill the level 1 monster lion head tiger and gain 10 points of experience. So killing monsters can gain experience. Ron suddenly realized. However, this experience is a bit lacking, it's only 10 o'clock, and upgrading is still quite early, isn't it? Since he can level up, Ron naturally wants to level up as soon as possible. However, there is too little experience. To continue killing monsters but suddenly, Ron turned his head to look at the body of the lion-headed tiger, touching his stubble with one hand and pondering, by the way, can this monster's body be burned? Give it a try. Boom! A flame flew over, enveloping the lion-headed tiger. In less than a second, the lion-headed tiger turned into a pile of ashes. A red-colored firefly flew out of the ashes, flying straight towards Ron. Experience plus 90, level plus 1. Obtaining free attribute points. 2, I'll go. Ron has a brilliant expression. Sure enough, this is also possible. However, when burning monsters, the fireflies flying out are red, and the things they receive are experience. It seems that there is still a lot of experience, which is several times more than killing monsters normally. Wouldn't upgrading be as easy as pie in this way? Ron thought happily. Chapter 7. Upgrades, upgrades, upgrades. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Level 1, 2 free points. I can barely defeat level 1 monsters with my current strength, so let's accelerate. The faster the speed, the faster I kill the monsters. Beep. Ron added all the free points to the speed. Then he rushed out quickly. The speed has indeed increased significantly. Of course, compared to Yang Xiao, who has a natural talent advantage, there is still a significant gap. Not long after, Ron saw the second monster, a big white bug. Weakening. Serve with a stick. In a chaotic fight, the monster is killed by Ron, who gains 10 points of experience to kill the monster. Use the burning talent to burn its body and receive a large amount of experience rewards from the red firefly. Next, Ron continued this operation and gained a lot of experience. The level is also climbing up one level at a time, but Ron still feels that this speed is not really fast. Monsters like Yang Xiao must have a more terrifying upgrade speed, they must be snowball-like. I need to work harder. Ron developed an inexplicable desire for victory or defeat. Continue to kill fiercely and upgrade fiercely. And in another place. A group of people. There are about a dozen or so. Also moving forward rapidly. These people look strange, they have one person behind them and the others in a semi-circular shape that curves outward. When encountering a monster, they immediately surround it and engage in physical assault. When killing monsters to the brink of death, they will immediately stop. At this point, the guy behind will raise his hand and summon an arrow that appears out of thin air. Whoosh! The speed of the arrows is very fast, and one strike can kill the monster. Besides, the monster itself is in a dying state. Hee, who else does my upgrade speed have? The man who released the arrow pursed a smile at the corner of his mouth and said, I've reached level 3 so quickly, who can be as fast as me? In this dungeon, I'm the fastest. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. The others also agreed and said, young master is the fastest in the world. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The man was obviously very happy and said, "Keep going. Later, this young master will take you to eat delicious food and drink spicy food." This strange team, under his command, continues to harvest quickly. This man who claims to be a young master is now filled with various fantasies about his future fame. Because he knows. The appearance of this instance is definitely not easy. This instance will be an opportunity for the big shots to truly widen the gap between the common people. And as long as you take the lead in this instance, it means you are at the forefront of the world. The existence of this latter is the true boss. Coincidentally, when he was teleported to this instance, the people around him were all employees of his own family group. These employees were loyal and unwavering to the group before the natural disaster of slaughter struck. Even after awakening, they are still willing to serve the group. So, he came up with such a fast harvesting method. TSK, it would be great if you could see the level ranking of the current instance. He was thinking about this question. Then, something similar to a leaderboard appeared before my eyes. Do I have to take the initiative to see what I have to see? Fortunately, I'm smart enough. Then he saw his ranking, N.1. Ha ha ha. I am indeed the first place. Ha ha ha. However, it didn't take long for me to be happy. On the ranking list, his name fell to second place. His expression instantly solidified into an abstract and explosive emoji pack. Nanny. Who's so fierce, they've surpassed labor costs. On the leaderboard, he can only see his own name. And the name that surpassed him only had one word, Shao, damn it. Damn it. Accelerate, accelerate. The man decisively urged him. Those people were all immediately harvesting like they had been beaten with chicken blood. Over an hour passed like this. His name has returned to the top position on the leaderboard. The man felt this was stable. Fight me, you're so far behind. Humph. And he hasn't been happy for a few seconds yet. Another name appeared without warning and replaced him as the number one. Ah. The man let out a sharp explosion. Immediately, he glared angrily at the word on it. Luo, good guy, wait for me. Meanwhile, Ron arrived at a ghostly valley. It's level 16 now. I guess we're still a long way from those perverts, right? I'm so tired, I've done my best. Ron looked at the new level and assigned attribute points one by one. Now he can easily kill monsters around level 20. Almost always without stopping throughout the journey, and with a large amount of stacking speed attributes, it skyrocketed all the way. But he felt that it was still very far away from Yang Xiaoxiao and his kind of perverts. So, he decided to continue improving. Kill, kill, kill. Up, up, up. Completely insane. Level 17. Level 18. Level 19. Level 20. Level 26. Level 30. I'm really tired, I'm tired. After Ron killed a monster that looked like a mouse but was about the size of an elephant, he finally collapsed and was exhausted. I did my best, I really did my best. Ron shook his head and sighed. There's nothing he can do. He doesn't have strong combat talent, so his speed is definitely not as fast as others. This is a hard injury. Meanwhile, many people in this dungeon looked at the information on the leaderboard with a bewildered expression on their faces. The young master had a cold sweat on his face before. He muttered, how could it be, how could there be such a person? I'm only at level 6 on horseback, he's already at level 30. He always believed that his way of killing monsters was absolutely unmatched. Just now, more detailed information was refreshed on the leaderboard, and you can see the specific levels. Then he suddenly realized that the Luo he had been chasing was already level 30. Damn it, he's only at level 6, what a huge gap this is. Even if that equally impressive little is only 7 levels now, it's just 1 level higher than him. This Luo, who exactly is sacred? The young master was really shocked and broke out in a cold sweat. It can be said that previously he disdained and even dared to treat Luo as a small target that was bound to be crushed. But now, he just wants to say, "Dad, Luo. Are there any missing pendants? Do you have a whimper?" At the same time, Yang Xiaoxiao also stared at the ranking list with a surprised expression on his face. The beautiful willow eyebrows have wrinkled to a new height, forming a V-dot shape, but they are also quite beautiful. Luo. Level 30. He's definitely an S-level talent. It's so terrifying. Ron. Thinking of Ron, what came to Yang Xiaoxiao's mind was the dark Q bullet of the great treasure. Yang Xiaoxiao quickly shook his head. On this ranking list, Luo can be anyone, but definitely not Ron. Chapter 8. Tian Sha Luo. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Valley. After resting on the grass for a while, Ron let out a heavy sigh, touched his stubble, and stood up. A hint of self-deprecation appeared at the corner of the mouth. Am I so idle that I always want to compare myself to those perverts? Ron patted his thigh, feeling a bit speechless. Double a talents, it's terrifying to think about it. I just need to brush some monsters honestly, as much as I can. Ron turned around and headed towards the valley. I plan to continue finding some monsters to kill. And at that moment, the announcement reappeared. Note that the remaining monsters in this dungeon are rare, and the remaining monsters are hidden elite monsters. Please choose carefully whether to engage in battle or not. Upon hearing this commotion, Ron clenched his fists. The speed of these dog days is too fast, isn't it? How long has it been? Are all the monsters in the dungeon about to be killed? A fierce batch. Ron felt angry in his heart. He finally managed to climb to level 30, and what about others? Those perverts are probably at level 60, right? It's so fierce that there are no friends. Ron gritted his teeth and continued walking towards the valley. Click. Suddenly, a strange noise came from under his feet. Looking down. Holy crap, a big pit appeared without warning. Oh my. Ron let out a scream, and the sound fell along with him. At the same time, that young master has a gloomy expression on his face, and his whole person is not doing well. Are we going to kill everyone now? This Luo is too exaggerated, isn't he? At this moment, the young master only wants to say, "Stop playing, let's go." But he is not willing to accept it. Seizing an opportunity to become a big shot, but being forcefully taken over by another big shot, they seized most of their resources. This makes it difficult for him to balance his mind. Hurry up and find the remaining elite monsters. The young master quickly instructed the people below to at least grab an elite monster. By a wide river. After hearing the announcement, Yang Xiaoxiao exclaimed from the bottom of his heart, "How impressive. You've almost killed all the monsters in the dungeon so quickly. How can others play? I'll also find the elite monsters. I hope we can grab one." Whoosh! Yang Xiaoxiao's figure transformed into blurred shadows, quickly searching for the traces of the monster. Ron's location. After he fell from the suddenly appearing big hole. Oh, my butt. Ron rubbed his buttocks and stood up, enduring the pain. Although he borrowed Yang Xiaoxiao's coat to wrap around his waist, he only covered the front and couldn't cover the white buttocks. As he rubbed his buttocks and screamed pain. Not far from him, on the mountain wall of the underground cave, a pair of eyes that seemed to be embedded in stone stared straight at him. At a certain moment, Ron also noticed these eyes. Rubbing his buttocks, he stopped. His expression also solidified. Hee hee. How are you? Ron extended his hand and greeted, then turned around and ran naked, his two nostrils wide open to suck in fresh air, filling his lungs with energy. Nima. I won. This is definitely a hidden elite monster. At first glance, it's very exaggerated. I can't fight it, I can't fight it. Boom boom. Just as Ron turned and ran away, those eyes also became sharp and fierce. Following closely, it seemed as if something of immense volume began to move. At this moment, the entire cave began to shake. Like the earth shaking and mountains shaking. Wow. I'm sorry, big brother. I also stumbled upon this place by mistake. Can you give me a chance? I'll leave now. Ron shouted loudly. Attempt to communicate with this guy who can make such a big noise with just a few casual moves. However, it is obvious that the effect is not significant. Roar. The monster suddenly let out a raging roar. The roar sounded deafening, and it didn't sound like any creature could produce. This voice sounds like it comes from hell, filling one's heart with fear. Ron didn't dare to slack off and quickened his pace. Run. Run hard. With the determination that if you can't run away, you will die today. His speed, visible to the naked eye, has increased. Boom boom. The huge tremor quickly spread over a long distance. Many people in this instance quickly stopped their steps. Earthquake. No, it should be an elite monster appearing. Haha. Go kill the elite monster. No. This shock is not right. This elite monster is definitely not an ordinary terror, it can't go. If it goes, it will die. In a flat area, it seems like a temporary team. These people initially thought that elite monsters had emerged and planned to take a share of the pie. Gradually, as the vibration intensified, they developed a huge fear. Everyone was sweating profusely. Some people even collapsed to the ground in fear. A young girl cried even more bitterly. Mom, it's so scary. I want to go home. In the team, there is a middle-aged man who looks very mature and looks like the core of the team. A pair of deep eyes are staring straight in the direction of the vibration. After a moment, he said inexplicably, "Is it the level 30 Luo on the leaderboard?" He went to challenge the elite monster so quickly. Everyone looked at each other in confusion. In the end, they decided to stay put and wait for new situations to arise before making a decision. Ron's current situation can be said to be very unfavorable. He found that although the cave was large, he had many escape routes to choose from. After changing directions several times in a row, I found out in despair that the size of this elite monster seemed immeasurable, as if it were all in the entire cave. What does this mean? That is to say, there is no cave at all, it just lives underground. Ron fell from that so-called hole, but only onto it. Maybe it's the shoulder position because you can see that guy's eyes from there. Of course, this is only Ron's speculation, but it is estimated that it is still within reach. Ron also felt an unprecedented pressure as a result. Is my life in danger today, young master? Heaven is going to kill me. Wait a moment. If this monster is really so big, can I attack it from anywhere? Ron came up with an idea. No matter whether this idea is reasonable or not, he feels like he needs to give it a try. Stick strike. He took the branch that had been with him for several hours and slashed it fiercely on the ground. Boom. I don't know why, but this stick really worked. The huge monster suddenly let out a terrifying and mournful cry, as if begging for mercy. Ron has a black line on his head. What kind of ghost? It's just a sight, but not a sight, it's a bluff. No, you're so fragile. That's easy to say. Another stick. Boom. Meanwhile, on the ground. Suddenly, huge holes popped out of the earth, as if the whole earth was about to collapse. In this dungeon, there are people one by one, all with scared yellow faces, and everyone feels like their scared souls are about to leave their bodies. Damn it, is this really the battle between Luo and the elite monsters? Run south quickly, the earth is afraid to collapse. Brother, give me a hand, my legs are so weak. People started running towards the distance like they were running for their lives, afraid of being involved in the battle between the big shots and elite monsters. At the same time, Yang Xiaoxiao also broke into a place that seemed very eerie. There is a black lake here. As the saying goes, clear water is shallow, and black water is deep. The water in front of me is as black as ink, isn't it really an abyss below? Yang Xiaoxiao originally had a sense of retreat, but her intuition told her that this place is not easy. Unfortunately, at this moment, a terrifying vibration came from far away. Yang Xiaoxiao frowned and said, "Is that Luo? He has already started a fight with the elite monster. But I'm still thinking about it here." The next moment, Yang Xiaoxiao gritted his teeth and plunged into the black lake. Pup Tong. Chapter 9. Listen to what you are saying. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ron is also very confused. He didn't understand what the situation was with this monster, which was so massive that it was unimaginable. He was so big that he didn't even know what the overall shape was. But it's so fragile that it's heartbreaking. Is it a combination of huge size and super crispy skin? That's really amazing. I must be lucky, otherwise how could I have encountered such a monster? Ron can only think positively. During this period, Ron has launched dozens of stick attacks on this monster. The monster's struggle is no longer as intense as it was at the beginning, and it is highly likely that Ron has weakened it a bit. Suddenly. Stone spikes suddenly emerged from the nearby ground, attempting to attack Ron. Ron chuckled and said, "You just remembered to take action on me. It's too late, isn't it?" These sharp stones were easily smashed by Ron with just a flick of a branch. It's really unbeatable. Weak and uncontrollable. It's like a stone hitting an egg. Ron is a stone, and the monster is an egg. And every stone spike is destroyed, and the giant monster emits a painful hissing sound. Under its struggle, a large area of the ground had shattered into pieces. Many people were forced to flee in embarrassment towards the distance. It's hard. I can only watch the big guy hide, and his mother will escape. When did Niu Hansan suffer such a grievance from childhood? Stop talking, run quickly, woo-woo, this is really fun. I don't want to come again in the future. Hurry up and ask Mr. Luo to collect his divine powers. I can't stand it any longer. Underground, Ron easily jumped up. The branch in my hand was violently smashed down. Bang. Long. The monster can only struggle barely and doesn't seem to live long. Ron became even more excited. Die fast. I'll try if I can burn this thing if I die. Ron's expectant eyes were filled with stars. He had already confirmed earlier that the bodies of monsters could also be burned by him. In theory, although this monster is a bit large, it should be able to be burned instantly. After all, in a sense, Ron's talent is a weapon of the causal law type. As long as it's a corpse, it can be burned instantly for you, it's just so unreasonable. So, please, go to hell now. Ron let out a loud shout, raised the branch in his hand, and veins appeared on his arm. He let out a loud shout and used almost all his strength to vigorously swing the stick. Boom. Although the branches are small, but its power is incredibly powerful and eerie. Deep cracks spread and shattered from the impact point in all directions. Click. Click. The spreading speed is rapidly increasing. Ron knows, it's done. The previously accumulated depression in my heart was suddenly swept away. He felt that although he may not upgrade as quickly as those with high talent levels, fortunately he managed to grab a hidden monster in the final stage. I just don't know how many rewards there are for hiding monsters. Roaming until the moment the monster is completely shattered. Ron just heard the prompt. Kill the level 20 hidden monster, Stone Spirit, gain 500 experience points, and gain 20 free attribute points, reward received. Ron breathed a sigh of relief and sat down on the shattered monster's body. So, is it a stone spirit? It's actually this reward. Sigh, it's careless. 500 experiences, for him who has already reached level 30, is far from reaching the level of upgrading by one level. As for the 20 attribute points, the improvement is not huge for him either. Still, that sentence is better than nothing. Outside. Has it stopped? Finally, the horse has stopped. Almost everyone was panting as they ran, and now there was no movement. Finally, they breathed a sigh of relief. Great, if we keep running like this, the monster won't see us. We'll be exhausted first. Ron in the hole reached out a hand and a small flame appeared on top. Okay, we can start burning. The flames were thrown onto the ground. Although the main body of the stone spirit monster appeared to be stone, Ron's flames ignited visibly as soon as he threw them away. And still, it only took 1 second to burn the entire body. The speed is surprisingly fast. What's even more surprising is that Ron also obtained monster level talent. Stone element, talent. Monster level. Ron is delighted, another talent. And mainly because this talent sounds very unusual. View description now, monster level talent. The magical power of controlling stone elements, which can be used to form combinations of stone elements, especially for the relatively simple combination of stone spirits. Surprisingly, it's easier to combine stone essence. But even if stone essence is a fragile monster, it doesn't have much combat power when combined. As a beginner at level 30, I can easily kill someone. How strong can I be? Ron sneered. There is also something that excites him, which is that in the future, he may be able to hand-rub a monster as large as a stone spirit. Although stone essence's attributes are not very good, just this makes Ron a bit passionate. Such a big stone spirit, if he rubs it out with his hands, it would definitely be a super cool thing. Suddenly, the announcement rings again. The current number of monsters in the dungeon has been reset to 0, and will soon return to the real world after the countdown ends in 10 seconds. If you need to view the performance ranking list, please check it yourself. Upon hearing this sound, Ron chose to close his eyes and rest. As for the record rankings, he was too lazy to look at them. To avoid hurting one's self-esteem when necessary. It's just a broken data, it doesn't reflect my efforts and sweat at all. It's boring. Ron snorted. Black Lake location. Poo-poo tong. A wave suddenly surged out on the calm dark lake surface. A wet figure lay panting heavily on the shore. I'm back. Ha. I almost died. Fortunately, I have come back. This person is Yang Xiao, who jumped into the lake earlier. At this moment, she looks very pale, with bloodshot eyes and a particularly poor mental state. Even the body occasionally shivers. It's not an exaggeration to say that she felt like she had gone through a dead end. But she came back alive. With huge gains. View the performance ranking list. In the last few seconds, Yang Xiao quickly opened the performance ranking list. It shows that she is in second place. Level 18, Achievements. Kill the hidden elite monster Yushui Breath. And the first place, unsurprisingly, was Luo. Level 30, Achievement. Kill the hidden elite monster Stone Spirit. After reading it, Yang Xiao was satisfied. Not bad, at least they can kill hidden elite monsters at level 30, and I can kill them below level 10, hehe. Yang Xiao only had level 7 before going into the water. After killing the hidden monster, her level was greatly improved. But she remembered that it seemed that Luo had already reached level 30 before killing the hidden monster. Why is the level still 30 after killing a hidden monster? Did you reach the level limit? Yang Xiao guessed. It's not without this possibility. For example, some games cannot be upgraded after reaching a certain stage. Specific events must be completed in order to continue leveling up. For example, job transfers in the game. Or simply reaching the daily experience limit. In short, this dungeon trip. The most stunning performance is Luo, next is Yang Xiaoxiao. Yang Xiaoxiao guessed that soon, the name Luo would become famous. By the way, I don't know if Ron is actually staying in the safe zone. Yang Xiaoxiao is a bit worried about Ron. So after returning, I immediately ran to the bathroom and knocked on the door. Bang! Bang bang! Bang 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 bang! I'm inside, who? Ron's voice came out. Yang Xiaoxiao breathed a sigh of relief and quickly said, I just want to confirm that you are back safely. There's nothing else. Ron quickly said, by the way, I'll return your clothes to you. Wait for me, I'll put on some pants. The sound of rummaging through clothes came from inside. Ron's voice also spread out, how small is it? What is your level? The competition inside must be very fierce. Yang Xiaoxiao agrees with the statement that competition is fierce. She nodded and immediately said, I'm at level 18. Have you seen the leaderboard? Have you seen the first-ranked Luo? I'll tell you, that guy is definitely an S-level talent, terrifyingly strong. When I was at level 7, he was already at level 30 and even killed the hidden monster Stone Spirit. I was far away at the time, but I could also feel the fluctuations he had during his battle with the Stone Spirit. Overall, it was quite frightening. Ron inside was a bit stunned. Wait a moment, what's going on? Yang Xiaoxiao, level 18. S-level talent, Luo. Level 30. Shi Jing. Why does this story sound so familiar? But Ron is not really a fool either, he quickly sorted out the whole story. I finally understand. I made a big mistake from beginning to end. Turns out I'm the one who's the most skilled at upgrading. Ron exclaimed, amazing. In fact, his heart has almost become a pig brother, and his smile is so brilliant. After playing for a long time, I am the one who is the most worried. Sigh. My damn charm with nowhere to hide. To be honest, I don't really want to pretend to be forced, but he doesn't allow it with his strength. Open the door and hand out the clothes. Yang Xiaoxiao took the clothes. Ron instinctively sniffed his hand and, it still had that scent, fragrant. Yang Xiaoxiao looked at Ron like this and felt a bit at a loss. In the end, she handed her clothes forward and stuttered, why not? Why don't you keep them? You can smell them when you want. Ah. Ron blinked his big eyes. Yang Xiaoxiao sent the clothes forward again and simply put them in Ron's hand. He said with a serious tone, don't be embarrassed, it's normal to have a bit of a special habit. I've seen someone buy authentic stockings for a beautiful girl at a high price before. Ron's pupils were shocked. Wait a moment. Do you want to listen to what you're saying, Yang Xiaoxiao? Chapter 10. Hand-rubbing small stone essence. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ron is depressed. Did you have the words, abnormal, written on your face? Fortunately, taking a hot bath is quite enjoyable. After taking a shower, Ron went straight back to the dormitory to sleep. During Ron's sleep, news about him quickly spread across the internet like a spark. At the same time, it has led to a continuous increase in the popularity of a topic called, the worst copy. Level 30. Is Luo so strong? This is too exaggerated. At least I am also a B-level talent. I almost risked my life to reach level 10. It is said that the second place in that dungeon is also a big shot, seemingly reaching level 18. However, even so, there is still a considerable gap from that Luo, which shows that this Luo is really too strong. The person who was randomly assigned to the same dungeon with him is really tragic. Almost half of the resources were taken by Luo Duqiang. Fortunately, they were not randomly assigned to the same dungeon with Luo Dalao. Does anyone know who Luo Dalao is? I am willing to spend 100 million just to make friends with Luo Dalao. Grasping grass. The money ability boss has appeared. Big shot, awesome. If you speak up, it's just 1 billion. Is this the world of the strong? Big shot, I love making friends so much. Can you give me one more, woo-woo? Yang Xiaoxiao's room. The whole room leans towards pink, and various types of dolls can be seen everywhere in the room. Yang Xiaoxiao sat cross-legged on the bed, holding a sleeping stuffed cat in her arms. Her fingers kept flipping through the phone screen. And it has been going on for a long time now. Until the phone's battery level indicates less than 20%, what kind of divinity is this Luo? Yang Xiaoxiao turned off his phone, charged it, and placed it on the bedside table. Then he muttered to himself. It's really terrifying that such a person is destined to become a big shot in the future. I'm a bit envious. Pop. Yang Xiaoxiao stretched lazily and turned off the lights in the room. Good night, Xiaomi. Ron slept until dawn. I slept quite comfortably this night. Outside the window, the distant sky occasionally flickers with eerie light. Accompanied by waves of roars, it is unsettling. I really have a growing feeling of impending chaos in the world. Ron took a deep breath and secretly made up his mind to work hard to burn the body and enhance his own strength. Not to mention becoming a big shot, at least one must have the ability to protect themselves. Speaking of which, my attributes seem to have improved a lot. Let's take a look at my attributes first. Ron flipped over and sat up, excitedly making the gesture of a fly rubbing its hands. A more magnificent panel appeared in his eyes than at first. Level 30, Power 180, Speed 160, Stamina 150, Weapon None, Skill None, Talent Burning Corpse, D. Level, Stick Critical Strike, B. Level, Weakening, C. Level, Stone Element, Monster Level, Honor 0, Trading Center Temporarily closed, Chat Area. Allow entry. From this panel, it can be seen that Ron's attributes have been significantly improved. In addition to his natural talent of burning corpses, he also has a B. Level talent, a C. Level talent, and a monster level talent. There is no need to say more about attributes. With the rapid improvement of attributes, Ron can intuitively feel the changes in his body. It's not an exaggeration to say that now he can kill a cow with just one punch. In terms of talent, Ron is still more concerned about the monster-level talent, Stone Element. After thinking for a moment, Ron got out of bed, got dressed, left the room, and went outdoors. The sky is hazy and bright. Ron shuttled through the small town in the suburbs. Finally arrived at an abandoned construction site. Right here. He looked around and confirmed that there was no one, then raised his hand and tried to control the surrounding stone elements. At first, within 10 meters of the body, the scattered small stones on the ground were trembling slightly. Quickly, these small stones moved rapidly and gathered towards the center point, merging into a basketball-sized ball. I'm not very proficient yet. Ron blushed with sweat. He had to keep trying, and he always felt that even though he had just used this talent, the upper limit was definitely not so low. The fact is indeed so. As Ron became more proficient in his operations, the volume of the stone ball also became larger. In about 10 minutes, this ball will be very close to a private car. At this point, Ron clearly felt a bit tired. He reached out and pinched the center of his eyebrows. Is it consuming energy? Ron guessed. However, Ron is still very satisfied with being able to roll out such a large stone ball. Well, I feel a great sense of achievement. And Ron is definitely not just rubbing a stone ball. From the beginning, what he rubbed was stone essence. Almost done, let's start transforming, right? Ron seemed to give an order and said to Stone Ball. Boom boom. The huge stone balls did move and, at a speed visible to the naked eye, grew parts similar to the trunk, of course. And eyes. Ron can't say what this thing really looks like. He thought for a while, but all he could think of was an adjective that perfectly matched Shi Jing, indescribable. Ron looked at Shi Jing with great joy and said, "It's unbelievable. Now, go underground. Give orders to Shi Jing again." Boom boom. Shi Jing immediately began to move underground. The way of transfer is not like what Ron imagined, digging a hole to bury himself in. But like water, it melted directly into the ground until it disappeared. But Ron can directly activate the god's perspective of the stone spirit and present it in his mind. This process is also very natural and convenient to use. That's really good. You can live here in the future. Let's try out the power first. Ron had an idea. The stone spirit, whose body merged into the earth, suddenly withdrew one limb and then ejected. Boom. A huge vibration immediately appeared. A strong shock instantly spread in one direction. Boom. Not far away, an abandoned building on the construction site collapsed with a loud bang. Ha ha ha. It's a bit impressive. Looking at Shi Jing's masterpiece, Ron burst out laughing with joy. This power is not bad. Moreover, the current stone essence is still small in size and has limited power. Maybe in the future, I can grow to the same size as the stone spirit in the dungeon, or even bigger. I dare not say anything else. If it really comes to a critical moment. Ron called out the stone spirit directly from the ground and helped him out of danger every minute. Absolutely a presence comparable to a super bodyguard. Settle the stone spirit properly, and Ron also plans to go back. At this moment, the sky is also bright. He plans to go back for breakfast and see if there are any corpses that can be burned. And shortly after Ron left, a person wearing a black robe arrived at the deserted abandoned construction site. He also looked around and confirmed that there was no one around. With just a wave of his hand, a strange scene appeared. On the flat ground, a downward dirt ladder unexpectedly opened up. The black-robed man smiled. "Jie jie jie. Let's start building my underground world from here."